I wanted to play a little bit of what Shohei said today. I know a lot of people were curious to hear what he had to say. Now, his interpreter got turfed by the Dodgers because he was betting illegally in California on sports.
To the tune of apparently $4.5 million.
In his own words, he was really bad at it.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so.
So he meets this guy at a poker game in L.A., and apparently this dude runs an illegal book. And so the details are murky, but the feds are looking into the guy who runs the book.
Yeah.
That's how this all came about. And then Shohei's interpreter starts betting with this guy, doesn't know it's illegal, doesn't know anything about it, but apparently Shohei's funding it or he's getting credit from this guy because he's Shohei's interpreter. Don't know any of those details, but he ends up getting hit for about $4.5 million. Shohei then pays off the debt. Well, originally the interpreter says, Shohei helped me out. I had to go to him and, kind of, have him bail me out and everything. And then
fall on the sword, so to speak.
And Shohei's attorneys came out and said, whoa. No. That's not how this went down. He was lying and he was stealing money from Shohei.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's because the attorneys wanted him out of
because
out from the eye of the feds.
Yeah, well, you're dealing with wire fraud, you're dealing with tax evasion, there's all kinds of stuff.
So Shohei, people have been like, "Hey, what do you have to say about this?" He played in Korea and he's been with the team and business as usual for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts said it was his decision to come out and speak today. So all he did was, apparently he had it's like 13 minutes long.
Yeah.
They had a big thing, and I watched the beginning of it. They let him make a full statement in Japanese that lasted multiple minutes, and then the new interpreter is sitting there taking down copious notes, and then he goes for about the same period of time, and then there's a few more comments after that. So
yeah, I was kind of hoping he would come out and say, "Oh, I lost my interpreter, so I can't tell you. I can't speak English. I can't tell you what's going on." Well, here is about 41 seconds of his new interpreter translating.
So I never bet on baseball or any other sports, or never have asked somebody to do it on my behalf. And I have never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports. To summarize how I'm feeling right now, I'm just beyond shocked. It's really hard to verbalize how I am feeling at this point. And the season's going to start, so I'm going to obviously let my lawyers handle matters from here on out, and I am completely assisting in all investigations that are taking place right now.
Yeah, one of the reporters that was there that was covering it said that at one point he thought that Ohtani was going to cry. Said he's very stoic, but you could tell that he was getting emotional. Said he was very adamant about they are calling for a full investigation. So, look, it all seems very suspect, but at least give them credit that they're not just trying to be silent and go away. I mean, there is going to be a full investigation by Major League Baseball, by the feds. And if there is shady doings, it's going to be hard to cover it up. So, maybe give him at least somewhat of the benefit of the doubt that maybe indeed he was the victim of a friend that he trusted that he got jobbed on.
Did you see the report over the weekend that Mizuhara, who is the interpreter, there was a bunch of discrepancies on his resume, a bunch of lies on his resume?
Yeah, like it said he went to UC Riverside, and he
He
graduated from there, and because someone called public records request, and they said they have no record of his attendance there.
Yeah, because it sounds like that even though Ohtani was the one, his name was on the wire payments. I mean, it was kind of alluded to, again, I'm just going off of the one reporter that I watched the interview, but they were kind of alluding to the fact that it sounds like he was lying not just to Ohtani, but to Ohtani's handlers to get access to money for maybe something else, and then was using those accounts to transfer it over. So it kind of had like I guess they're trying to spin it like almost he had a web of lies going with Ohtani's people, and he was so beloved and trusted that no one was calling on any of it until it was too late. I still find it fascinating that you with that many people, no one noticed $4.5 million. But the other one that I also don't believe for a second is that you do not give someone that makes $300,000 or $500,000 $4 million plus a credit unless you believe that that thing is bankrolled by someone that a lot bigger.
Yeah, he also said that Mizuhara, he had on his resume that he was a interpreter for Hideki Okajima, and that is not true. Apparently, it says when he was with the Angels media guide stated he had worked as Okajima's interpreter during Yankee spring training in 2012, but multiple news stories from that time cited by The Athletic show Okajima was released by the Yankees prior to spring training.
Wow.
Following a failed physical exam, and in a statement earlier this week, the Red Sox corrected reports that Mizuhara worked as Okajima's interpreter during the 2010 season.
Is it possible this dude's just like a serious bunco artist? Like he literally is just a
Boy, it sure sounds like
he's
it.
just a crook.
Either that or there's a really, really orchestrated smear campaign on the guy.
Well, I mean,
It's one of the two.
Well, a lot of these people that do the like long con type stuff, like they are so charming and charismatic. Like the way that, because almost everybody talks about this Mizuhara guy, like you use words like beloved and like universally liked and stuff. Like he was a guy that was on the inner circle that everybody was all about, but that takes work to earn that kind of trust so that you can do stuff like this.
yeah, there is something if Ohtani really did view him as a brother and just was, you come over here and, you don't speak the language and the culture is a little bit different and you've got a guy that becomes your person.
I also think there's something too, and you talk to people that have covered Shohei or listen to people that have covered Shohei. He's super sheltered and sort of innocent.
Yeah.
And so you could, I just can see a scenario based on what people have said about what Shohei's like.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a scenario where this guy got over on him for several milli.
Yeah.
I mean that is not a stretch.
Yeah.
I mean it doesn't. I mean in other words, if you gave me a choice between Shohei was just kind of naive to the ways or too trusting, or the alternative is he's this sports gambler was trying to hide it and run it through his interpreter. Come on, I'm taking the former.
You're starting to come around to the idea that maybe this is, is what Ohtani said, is that he got rooked.
Well, that's what I thought all along. I just feel like
I found it hard to believe, but
I feel like when everything changed was the attorneys getting involved and basically trying to exonerate him from any sort of
financial
criminal
crime.
activity because this is a federal investigation,
Yeah.
and they needed to separate him from that. So I think they got him out of there. That's why their story changed. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it sounds plausible.
Yeah, and I still go down the road of there's no evidence whatsoever that betting on baseball was here, and as long as that wasn't the thing, then this is even
right.
if it was Ohtani, the penalty for gambling illegally on non-baseball is up to the discretion of the commissioner. And someone in baseball, I forget who it was, got caught a couple years ago and he paid an undisclosed fine. So
yeah, it's not a huge story.
It does, as long as baseball is not involved. And again, there's no indication of that whatsoever. So I'm not sure why everyone keeps doing like, what if he was betting on baseball? Well, okay. Well, what if your plane crashes? Like, so far, there's no evidence of that. And the idea that even if this was him, who gives a crap if the guy has a gambling problem? It's like with the Jordan stuff. If you have a $700 million contract and you want to lose $4.5 million gambling, whose business of it is mine?
Well, yeah. I mean, you also wonder if like maybe a lot of this was how it came out. But did the Dodgers even need to fire him? Like, if there was no baseball betting and it was just between Shohei and the interpreter, maybe Shohei would fire him.
Yeah, I think the idea is if you're the Dodgers, you get it with Shohei and said, "Hey, man, we just gave you $700 million. Like, this crap ain't gonna fly." So you just can't have someone.
Yeah,
I
just mean that when you really break it down, there isn't anything terrible here other than maybe a fractured relationship between Ohtani and the interpreter. Yeah. That's really it.
Unless the dude really is a con artist, then you gotta, you can't have him anywhere near your team.